So if you're anything like me and you want to create impact in the world through your business, you have the creative juices, you have this amazing idea, you want to impact people, provide a service, you've got a great product idea, but you start it and then you stop. You start, but then you stop. You're in a constant cycle of stopping and starting. From having the idea but not really fulfilling the idea and building that momentum and building it to 5-6 figure business. I've been there. I cannot tell you how many businesses I have started over the years. I've had the great creative juices running. I have so much enthusiasm. I invest in strategies, coaching, software, products. I've invested in branding, things like that. But then after a certain amount of months, a certain amount of time goes by, and then I stop, or I lose focus, or I lose the confidence. So if this is something that you've been through, or you can identify with something like that, continue to watch this video. In order to make a shift and to see yourself in your full truth, to see yourself being successful and being happy, at the same time, you need to be aware of the conditioning. And I had to step back and see that for myself along my journey of looking introspectively and looking at my life as a whole, and why I give up on things, why I lose my confidence, why I burn my business to the ground, why I throw my ideas away. Because so many women out there killing out themselves to provide for everybody else. They're depleting themselves. They're aging. They're not happy. They're never in their pleasure. Never in their pleasure. They can't really schedule much time with their friends. They can't manage it all. Because they always giving and self-sacrificing. So in order to solve this, we need to be aware of the conditioning. We need to allow ourselves to build our business from our truth and not from someone else's blueprint, especially a man who wants to wake up at 4 a.m., who works from 4 a.m. till 12 o'clock at night. It's not practical. It's not, to me, that's not happiness. That's sacrificing way too much for me. And you don't have to do it that way. So to really move forward and make a shift, you need to be aware of the conditioning that's been running the show, that's sabotaging you from creating impact through your business. So once you've identified what conditioning, what habits you've been running on subconsciously, you can then bridge the gap. You can then close that gap and introduce a conditioning reset. So if you're a brilliant high capacity woman who wanting to create an amazing business, who wants to work for herself, who wants to wake up every day and be so joyful that she's making sales, she's created products that people want to buy, she's showing up online, servicing clients, she's created a business that's come from her soul. A great first step is identifying patterns. Have a look at how do the women in your family, in your past generations, operate? How do they live their life? What have been the stories that they told you about how a woman should exist, how they should work, how they should show up in the world? How do they live their life? Are they always talking about how they're tired and they're stressed? Are they always talking about how there's never enough time in the day? Is taking time for themselves a luxury? Is going to the hair salon or beauty salon a complete and utter luxury? How do the women operate in your world? How have they operated in your family? What have you seen? What have you witnessed growing up? What have they modeled to you? Have they shown you that a woman can do it all, be it all? Have they shown you that their way is the way it needs to be and that no one can do it as amazing as them? Have they shown you that taking help is a really hard thing to do, to accepting assistance and help from other people is a really hard thing to do? So identify some of the patterns of how women operate in your world, all from when you was growing up. Action step number 2 is to look about where you're building from. So you're in business already, or you want to start a business, or your business is at a certain point, but it's not scaling, you're not making many more sales, it's not covering your lifestyle, it's not creating the life that you really, really want. Have a look at Where are you building from? Are you building from depletion, or are you building from your truth? Are you building from pleasure? Are you building from your creativity? See, if you want to build a business, and you want to build a business that's sustainable, that can create a wonderful life for you and also create impact in the world, you need to do it from a place of overflow. You need to do it from a place of creativity. You don't want to do it from a place of depletion. You don't want to do it where you're sacrificing yourself, you're pulling parts of yourself. And what I mean by that is you don't have the time, or you don't have the energy, you don't go out anymore, you don't have any fun, you don't see your friends, you don't get your nails done or your hair done, you're horrible to be around, you're stressed out, you are on the phones till 12 o'clock at night when really you'd want to be doing other things. You've forgotten that your business should be a part of your whole entire life. You should be happy in it and working on it. So for me as a business owner, I had to make sure that I now incorporate more time for myself, more time for me to be in my pleasure. Because the happier I am, the better my business will be. The more I want to spend time in my business, I need to incorporate ways in which I can work on my business, but do it in a more happier way, do it in a happier environment, and working with people that are truly are going to enlift me, that are going to enlighten me, and making sure that my business is enjoyable. Because what's the point in working on a business? As much as we want to create money and bring in more money for ourselves and our family, but why do it where we're not happy? So action step is to not build from depletion. Don't do it just to make money. Do it because you want to create impact. And if you're anything like me and you're a high capacity woman, a self-led woman, you're doing it because you want to create impact. You want to do it because you want to create impact for the world, but you also want to create a lovely, abundant, expansive life for yourself and for your family. And you've got a lot of value to give. So you need to make sure that you hone in on your truth and why you're doing this. And know that if you're sacrificing parts of yourself, it's just not going to be sustainable. You're going to burn the business to the ground because you're going to be like, this is costing me too much. This is costing me my happiness. This is costing me my sleep. This is costing me my sanity. It's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. And you will always be at a cap. If you want to go from 5 to 6 figures, you need to let go a lot of the conditioning, and you need to let go of the need to do it all by yourself. Next thing is to look at what would my business and life look like if it was to flow through me rather than take from me. Rather than it taking from your time, your energy, your pleasure, what would business look like for you? What would your life look like with your business and your life and your pleasure all together as one? What would your day look like? What would your month look like? Who would you be working with? What would your morning routine be? What would you look forward to doing on a daily basis? Think of it like that. What would it look like if your business flowed through your creativity and through your pleasure and through your happiness, rather than from someone who is tired and stressed and had enough? So take some time to think about, if I was to create an amazing, expansive business, what would it look like? What would my life look like? Not just the business, but what would my life look like as a whole? And how would I integrate that to make sure that I'm happy and the people that I'm servicing and providing for get the best service and the best value from me? It's important to trust yourself. Because if you've had this calling to create a wonderful business, that's the reason why you've been given this calling. What would it look like to trust yourself, create from your truth, not from self-sacrifice? Another thing is to give yourself permission to increase. And what I mean by that, give yourself permission to expand and grow and live in your pleasure. Don't feel guilty for wanting more. You're a high capacity woman who wants to create amazing things. Don't allow conditioning, other people's beliefs, fear, stop you from being the woman that you've truly been called to be. Give yourself permission to increase And this is an increase without self-abandonment. And what do I mean without self-abandonment? Without sacrificing your pleasure. What is the point of existing every day if we're not living in our pleasure? We don't have happy moments. What is the point in running a business if we don't have any time for fun, pleasure? We don't have time to spend with our families. We don't have time to spend with our husbands or partners, our kids, our friends. We don't go out. We don't go and spoil ourselves. What is the point as women in being in business? Because I don't want to be stuck in an office all day from, morning till night, and then everyone's wondering where I am. And then the weekends I'm doing admin and I'm stressed out. And then when I do spend time with my family and friends, I'm just exhausted. I've got nothing to give. And then before you know it, you're back on the grind in your business. I refuse to live like that. I refuse to live like that. So give yourself permission to increase. Give yourself permission to live in your truth. Give yourself permission to create a business through you, through your happiness, through your pleasure, through your creativity, through your calling, rather than taking pieces of you from depletion, grinding, burning yourself out. I want you to write it down. I want you to write down a vision for yourself. A beautiful, abundant business owner who's creating impact through the world. I want you to create a vision for yourself. Where do you live? What do you do? What is your business? How much money you're making? How much time do you have to spend in your pleasure? Do you take Fridays off to go and get your nails done? You have an amazing sales calls. You're bringing in amazing clients into your business. You're having so much fun. It doesn't even feel like work. It's just pleasure, fun, and expansion. And not only that, you're providing value to the world and creating a beautiful life for yourself. What does that look like for you? What does that look like? I want you to write it down and know that it's available for you. If any of this has resonated with you and you've created a shift, or I've made you think a little bit differently, I'm looking forward to sharing more videos about business growth, about mindset, about us high capacity women wanting to create impact in the world, and helping us women create liberation businesses. And what do I mean by liberation businesses? Businesses that liberate us, that don't cage us and make us wonder why we started business in the first place. So if that's something you're interested, I can't wait to see you in the next video.